Ladies and gentlemen, what it do? This is your boy ZZ Huncho, the host of From the Logo, alongside his co-hosts, at least two of them, Doubleholics and Gifted Hoops. How we feeling,
Wow.
boys? Talk to the
What's
people.
good, everybody? How's everybody feeling, man?
Good, it's
I
all
haven't heard
good.
that name in a minute. My God.
Doubleholic.
Yeah.
A
Cause you
double-holic.
yeah, I gave up the bottle, man. I'm
Good,
waiting till
good. We're
Cinco
gonna
de
change the
Mayo.
name then.
Respect,
Yeah.
respect the
Respect.
dub, man.
Everybody clap it up for Dub. Give him a W
Well,
in
I
the
still
chat.
Respect the
drink. You know,
dub.
I still drink. I just
Oh
don't get
shit, never
drunk.
mind.
Like when I'm
Moderation and
eating.
whatnot.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I'm eating, like when you out at a restaurant or like eating with family, just get like a beer or get a something on
Yeah.
the rocks.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm into. But I'm not. I haven't gotten drunk in like for like about 2-3 months now. So
All
happy
right,
about
bet.
that
Let's go.
Dope.
Let's go.
for
All right,
sure.
let's run
Dope.
through the list of. We got some new members. Let's talk to me. Talk to me. William Harris Jr. Shout out to you, brother. D Dub, Dub's twin brother. Shout out to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Global. Shout out to you, James B. I feel like I know who that is. Feel like I've heard that name before. That's interesting. Taylor Rodriguez. Appreciate you for coming through. Travis Scott with a Damo profile pic. We'll take it. We'll take it. Appreciate you, LaFlame. Nap and Trey, appreciate you, brother. YT
Mhm.
Hart, thank you as always. Stephen Deans, got to get y'all shout outs. All right, so let's see what we cooking up today. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all saw the title of the video. So you know for a fact that things have a chance of getting spicy today. Nikola Jokic, why he is not your MVP. Now, I don't know who Dub has for MVP. I don't know who Gifted has for MVP. I know who I might have for MVP, to be honest. I don't really know. It's up in the air for me, right? But I got it between two guys, maybe a third. We're gonna talk about that third, best believe. So we're not gonna start off with that though. We're gonna let it simmer. We're gonna wait to get the dogs in here. We're gonna let it simmer.
Let it marinate and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, let it marinate. We're gonna run through lightly last night's games. How we feeling, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see what we got. So off rip, the Pistons got their 11th win of the season. Talk to me. Praise Jesus. Over the
W
Hornets.
Detroit, man. Let's
W
go.
W Detroit, W Detroit. The Suns last night against the Cavs, 117-111. Kevin Durant,
Mhm.
37, 8 and 6, 14 to 26 from the field, 50% from three. D Book chipped in 27, 6 and 7. Bradley Beal had, let me see, 24. I mean, damn, the big three just went crazy last night. Were y'all able to catch that one?
I was watching a part of it alongside the Warriors game, and I gotta say, Cavs really almost had it. Garland was hot to start that game. He was going crazy. The Jared Allen lob at the end, where it might have been a bit too high, but Allen still could have dunked it, was very, very costly for the Cavs. It was literally a one-possession game. If he makes that, I think they're up. So tough matchup. I know that all three of those guys hooped for the Phoenix Suns, but it's not a good sign if you're going that far with a Cavs team that had no Donovan Mitchell. But hey, they won, so hey,
Hey,
W.
talk to me. Dub, how you feel?
Um, to be honest, how I feel is this, right? With the Phoenix Suns and with the Phoenix Suns and what they've been going through and the complete roster changes, the complete up and downs, Bradley Beal being in and out of the lineup, and still being able to be a six seed. And I think they're like no, they're like 4 games behind like the 4 seed, right?
Mhm.
So I keep looking at this, and the way Kevin Durant has been playing this season has been severely undervalued, and no one's really paying attention to what he's been doing. Both offensively and defensively, he's been a very consistent guy for that whole crew the entire year. What's been the main thing about KD in the last recent years? His health, but he's actually been healthy this year for the good portion of the year, and with him being healthy. I mean, bro, the dude Gifted, what is his percentages? Isn't he sure like 50, 40, 90 or 55,
Very
40,
close
90?
to it, man. He's he's performing very well, man.
So you got KD over here
Crazy.
playing at this level, being this highly efficient, and no one talking about it at all. No one giving him his graces. I remember when they lost to the Boston Celtics, there's still people hating on Kevin Durant when they lost to the Boston Celtics, despite him dropping like 45 on like 75%. So I don't understand this. The whole disdain and distaste that the media has for Kevin Durant or just the NBA fans have for Kevin Durant is disgusting to me. And which goes to my point of what we talked about earlier. This ring is going to mean far more to him than anybody else in the league right now if he wins.
True. See now. Hold on, Dub. I know you believed in the Suns all year, but I don't believe this team can win. Not gonna lie, their defense at times looks cooked. Here's the thing that I have about the Suns. Right, I told y'all before going into the offseason, Kevin Durant was saying, you can't guard all of us in regards to him and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, right? My thing with that statement is it got literally just knocked out of the way when James Harden ended up going to LA and shaking things up with Kawhi and PG and Russ. Because what you see in LA, the difference between LA and Phoenix, minus the fact that that's a big four and this is a big three, is that what they have around them. Like when you look at the Clippers on paper, you look at everything outside of Kawhi, Harden, PG, and Russ, right? And then you look at the coach, even the coach, right? And I rock with Frank Vogel. I ain't got nothing against him. But T. Lue and what he's able to cook up with what he's got on paper is more than what Frank Vogel can cook up, right? When you look at the offense for the Phoenix Suns, at times it's questionable. There was one game I was watching this year. I forgot which game it was, but it was like one of the first Suns games I had watched this year, like with the big three all there, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm like, all right, so what is their offensive game plan here? What is Frank Vogel cooking up, right? With this version of a Kevin Durant big three, right? That Steve Nash couldn't cook up at all. Jacques Vaughn couldn't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kevin Durant's been on his, experiments outside of Steve Kerr and the big three that he had over there. And I'm just trying to figure out what the offensive game plan is for a team like the Suns to utilize a Kevin Durant who we often say can fit into any system, right? He's a player that if he goes on the trade market, everybody's going to want him because he can fit in with their team, right? Factoring in the fact that we have the franchise player in Devin Booker. And now we're bringing on Bradley Beal. We've let go of the playmaking that we had with Chris Paul, and we've let go of whatever you could say we had with DeAndre Ayton. We're bringing in Bradley Beal. We're bringing in pieces like Grayson Allen, right? And you're sitting there saying, okay, when the offense is running, what is their scheme? I've seen work for the Suns is where they just get into a swinging motion. You put Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, whichever one, probably Kevin Durant in a corner, and you can put Josh Okogie or whoever's filling that role out on the other side. And then you got D-Book isolating, kick it to the left, keep swinging it because you still got Bradley Beal, right? That offense it's not really translating into something that I can look at the Suns and say, you know what? They're actually deadly on offense. They don't just have three of the best isolation scorers or what have you that we've seen in the last few years, but they don't have a system like a Denver Nuggets team has a system. Even the Warriors, with what they have around Steph, it's still a motion offense that at times can work if players are hot, right? The Lakers, they have a system with their two best players. The Clippers have a system, even though it's kind of iffy or whatever. It's James Harden. You could say that too. But the Clippers have something that you can look at and you can be like, okay, they have a dynamic offense and they're utilizing these players in different ways. It's going to take sacrifice like it did with a James Harden. But when you have James Harden playmaking ability, that's not really in question anymore. When you have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, giving energy and impacting the game, it's not really a question anymore. So when I look at this Phoenix team, I say to myself, dude, the defense isn't anything that moves me. Right. The offense is something that I thought was going to move me a little bit more than it's moving me now. I just feel like it's been meh. Like it's just, I don't know about y'all.
Do you want to say something before I say something?
Yeah. In terms of the Phoenix Suns, this is a roster that I said coming in is really going to be carried by how good Kevin Durant can be with his defense being very, very important for this Phoenix Suns roster. I must say Nurkic has outperformed expectations. He's playing a lot better than DeAndre Ayton did when tasked with that same role. So I do think he deserves more credit with that. Grayson Allen has been a spectacular pickup for the Suns, literally their best shooter on volume. I believe he's shooting 47% from three on like 6 or 7 attempts. He's been going wild. But yeah, man, the problem with the Suns is their fourth quarter execution. Down the stretch, their offense crumbles a lot. We've seen multiple games where they have been up multiple times throughout the game, but during the fourth quarter, their offense sometimes stagnates and they don't quite know exactly what to get to or how to consistently maximize advantages. But there's still a problem considering that they have Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal with the advantages that they can all create for each other. Sometimes they take the more difficult shots compared to getting things involved. But at the same time, this is still a limited roster with their role players, which makes sense because when you have all three of those guys making the money that they have at their contracts, something has to give. So this experiment, seeing how this plays out against the deeper teams in the Western Conference is going to be interesting. Currently, they are out of the plan, yes, but they were just in the plan. The win last night elevated them to pass that. So it's still a very fluid conversation as we keep going. Should be interesting. But KD, to Dub's point, hasn't really been talked about as much this season. He's been very, very important because out of Bradley Beal or Devin Booker, Kevin Durant's been the one who's been out there pretty much every night. And defensively, they needed his size and his length in the front court to really impact their defense. So that's what I got to say about the Suns for right now, Dub.
What's his name? ZZ said something about system, and the thing about that, like systems in the NBA, is not too many teams that's like a free organic system, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the Kings and what they run with their DHOs and the pistol actions, right? Miami and their motion as well, similar to like the Kings and what they do. The Denver Nuggets and their system is amazing, but outside of that, I mean, majority of teams, it's a lot of the same thing. So my whole thing is with the Phoenix Suns, just because they don't have something as free flowing as that, I'm not much concerned about the offense. Now, the execution in the fourth quarter, that's something that definitely look at. I feel as if all of them, not even just like one person. I think Beal, Booker, or Katie, for some reason, makes bad decisions down the stretch. And is that because of comfortability and knowing who we're going to go off of and who we're going to feed off of? I think that can play a part. But I think they all struggle in terms of decision making and knowing who's the aggressor is in that scenario. And I think time is what's going to correct that. That I don't think they have a lot of, right? But in terms of their offense and how they can exploit things, I mean, bro, you have an Eric Gordon where people not talking about him off the bench like that. You have an Eric Gordon where he could be a ball handler, a shot maker for them off the bench, which is really viable for them. Grayson Allen is having the best three-point shooting year of his career, and outside of Curry, probably the best three-point shooter in the league right now. So my whole thing is when I look at this Phoenix Suns crew, we've seen this team with a hurt CP3, with a hurt DeAndre Ayton, with Cam Payne, with Josh Okogie, with one more I'm missing. One more. Who's the last one I'm missing? Josh Okogie.
Jay Crowder. Okay,
Payne, not Jay Crowder. It's one more. He's a wing, and I'm forgetting the name. Help me out. I know there's one more.
You said Okogie, Torrey Craig.
Torrey Craig. That's one. So
yeah,
you was able to take the champions, the Nuggets, to 6 games where everyone else they beat in 5. Y'all took them to 6 games with that personnel right there. The Nuggets, if I'm the Nuggets, I am SHITTINGing myself because these guys got an upgrade with the Bradley Beal, got an upgrade with role players, got an upgrade with space, got an upgrade from the center position as well. Shout out to the 31 boards against OKC. It was insane. So the Phoenix Suns got an upgrade literally everywhere. I don't know why people are sitting here not talking about the Suns more as being a team to make it out the West. Nobody's talking about it at all. It's
just like, because, Dub, when you look at the Suns, and this is how it is for me in terms of looking at them compared to other teams in the Western Conference, especially other teams within the 6 to 10 range, right? What you have with the Suns is, like you said, we've seen the fourth quarter woes already through this season. That's something that I'm not too pressed about because at the end of the day, I know Kevin Durant is a closer, Devin Booker's a closer, and Bradley Beal has been a closer for the Wizards for multiple years, right?
D-Book's not a closer.
These guys can close.
I know these not a closer to me. Sorry. What happens in closeout games? Oh man, you don't want to get into those numbers.
Fine. We don't have to say that one.
I kind of think that might be a reason why people aren't talking about the Suns.
I hear you.
And the thing is that, like you said, they have time to fix it, but they don't have a lot of time. When you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets, I don't think that they're worried about this team personally, because at the end of the day, Jokic is looking at Nurkic like, who the hell are you? And on top of that, the Nuggets still, I will preach this until the playoffs get here. They still got the most unstoppable offensive, what you want to call it, plan or scheme in the league, which with Jokic being up top at the free throw line with a cutting Aaron Gordon and or the handoffs between Jokic and Jamal Murray, which are still deadly. Still, I mean, at the end of the day, I look at other teams in the Western Conference and I compare it to the Denver Nuggets and I say, does anybody have an answer for Nikola Jokic? Is Nikola Jokic going to walk into this series against whomever, in this case, it'll be the Suns, and average a 30-point triple-double? I'm sorry, he will. Nurkic is not stopping that. And what you're going to need from the Suns is Nurkic to be doing his part. But at the same time, health scares are still something that this team has dealt with all year, and it's mainly been to Bradley Beal. So if the Suns get into a situation where it's just like last year, KD versus Devin Booker, and when somebody had commented this in the chat, but when you look back at Devin Booker's numbers through the games that they won, last year in the playoff series against the Nuggets, D-Book was shooting like 80% from the field in order for the games to even be close enough for the Suns to win. So Devin Booker was out here putting up heroic 50 point and 45 plus point performances a night to keep them in games and to give them a chance to actually withstand what the Nuggets was bringing them. Because at the end of the day, they didn't have an answer for what the Nuggets had on
Can I
offense.
say something to that?
Go ahead.
Doesn't that counteract? Like, doesn't that think about it like this? Is Devin Booker going to have that performance again? Probably not. But can't that performance be replaced by one, KD's play, because KD didn't have the best of the series, and also the role players that sat here and that they've acquired that can put on a better performance, right? So I hate when people bring up that point, because you're dismissing the fact that this Devin Booker doesn't have to play like that in order for them to win this year, because what he did last year can now be shared with the people all around. And you brought up what's his name? Like Jokic. Yeah, there's no answer for Jokic. Same way there's no answer for KD. Same way there's no answer for D-Book. And same way there's no, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Here's my
Don't
thing.
do this.
Listen,
I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. How about this? This will be better, because I don't feel like getting into this debate. There's not an answer for D-Book, Bradley Beal, and KD altogether.
Okay.
There's not an answer for all. So it's basically 3 versus 2, because I'm not going to disrespect Jamal Murray. He deserves to be in this too, because when he gets going in the playoffs is wild. So my whole thing is, I understand your point of no one being able to check Jokic, but I don't think anyone can check the Suns either. Here's
my thing. As much as I agree with you on the point of we have to give Kevin Durant his due, right? Because as much as we can say there's no stopping Nikola Jokic, we can kind of say that with Kevin Durant if we look at it on paper. But I'm not even going to get into that because we don't have time.
This is going to talk about a whole different debate.
We'll save that for another episode.
But I don't even think this is going to take too long, bro. Like, I get your point, Dub, but in saying that, just like there's no answer for Jokic, there's no answer for KD, they're not comparable, because physically there's no matchup, and also fundamentally the way Jokic will punish you for trying to match up for him is different than what happens with Kevin Durant. So to me, it's like it's not the same tier in terms of how defenses can game plan versus those guys, right?
Because normally, build,
right? We'll build. Build is a big part of it, but also just how they play and how their processing speeds are. I think the way Jokic processes a defense is a lot better than Durant's, and it doesn't just take tough, shot making from Jokic to overcome you because of that processing.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you, especially with how big and how big he is.
You ain't got to pause that, bro.
I'm just gonna be real. I mean, I just got to be careful.
He can clip.
But I understand that. But then, I guess the way I look at it, especially in a head-to-head matchup with those two, I think, especially in PNR actions where Jokic isn't gonna sit here and be able to just commit down low, just do a probably like a soft hedge on the help like he was doing last season. They're going to get him a lot more in actions, which could be very taxing for Jokic. But again, he's been going through that all season long, so he's probably used to it by now. But we'll just have to see,
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, is that the boy? Is that the boy himself? W host, talk to him. Hayes in the building. Let's go. How you feeling, brother?
What's good, family? How's everybody doing today?
Who the hell is this guy?
Oh my God.
Solid.
I can understand that
Who's
the
this
beard
guy?
envy is real, bro, but you got to maintain that hate a little bit.
Who?
Mm.
No, wait, who is this guy? Like, I'm so serious. I'm so
Hey,
serious.
Hayes, now that you're here, we should get your thoughts. We were just
Okay.
talking about the Phoenix Suns game last night against the Cavs. They won 117 to like 111 or something. But we then got into a discussion about how we view the Phoenix Suns in terms of threat, in the Western Conference, whatever, as the postseason's drawing near. Dub thinks they're a threat. Me and Gifted are kind of iffy. But we respect them. We respect them, but we're iffy. How you feeling?
They're rocky. I mean, I respect the talent. They got tons of talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do go on a great run in the playoffs. But there's something about them that just doesn't feel. It still feels a little fraudulent. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it just something about it, and I worry about as the playoffs goes on and the defensive intensity kicks up. Yeah, they got great offensive ceiling, but I just look at that team and I wonder, like, all right, once the team starts ratcheting up the defense on you, game plans for you every single night, and they realize that all you got to do is trap a little bit to throw Bradley Beal off his game, and then you got to force KD and Book to beat you. What is it going to look like then? So,
True.
It's going to look bad because if you're trapping them, it's going to leave some shooters open, or maybe a cutting lane to like Nurkic somebody, and then they could capitalize on that. That's bad.
Nah, I don't guarantee that. I don't feel. First of all, we got to make sure that Nurkic is going to stay healthy because we don't even know what that's going to look like. And if you got a big that can do some rim protection, it depends on the team that's matching up because that's not just going to be barbecue chicken for any other team. Like, don't get me wrong, there is a route that it can work, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to work night in and night out yet.
Well, nothing in life is guaranteed. I'll be like, yeah, the Nuggets ain't guaranteed, as well. Even though we trust them a lot, like nothing is guaranteed. But I mean, just trapping Devin Booker, KD, and Beal to then leaving whoever else like Grayson Allen, KD, or Beal or Booker for open shots. Nah, I don't think that's the answer at all. I don't think teams are going to be doing that this year.
We understand, but you also don't have great basketball IQ, so that's what it comes down to.
God.
As well, Dub. So I mean,
Okay, Hayes.
Wait.
Dub is Mr. Narrative. Like it's just that's
How
just
is
Dub.
Mr. Narrative?
That's Dub. Like,
is he cooking Jay?
What's the narrative about open three for those guys?
It's not. Nobody said that, but you got to understand that even then, how often we've seen it. Devin Booker have those open threes before and not make them. We've seen KD fell in the playoffs. I'm not saying that it's just this foregone conclusion that it's going to work every single time.
Man. Damn, who's talking about narratives now,
Listen,
bro? That's what. Hey, you can't sit here and say that and then sit here bring a narrative. Like that's crazy. I'm just saying.
First here, you out here showing the pale skin. You got your titties out. Like chill out, bro. Like you ain't got to try to come with this. You ain't got to try to come with this unnecessary heat because you're feeling inferior. We understand that's the way that you try to cook.
This is Hayes, bro. Yo, put your glasses back on, bro, because you ain't even talking basketball right now. You just throwing words out that mean nothing.
Whoa.
90% of the time you talk, all you do is follow the narratives. We're done with the 80s. You follow every trend that's set to you, and you don't set a single one.
You know what's so funny, Hayes? I've been saying I've been done with all of that nonsense. So they've been saying that
you don't understand it because you don't know how to break down basketball. Come on, bro. Chill out.
Let's not lie, Hayes. Let's not. We don't have to lie on my name.
What
Hayes.
happened? What actually happened?
Put the glasses. Put the glasses back on because this is
IQ on. Here's the thing, Dub. This is the thing. This is the problem with you, right?
You talking about open threes for Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, man.
That's not what I said at all either. I said just trap booking. You have to make those other players beat you. You focus in on one narrative that you try to think that it was going to be your lane in. This is exactly why you need PC to have success. You need PC to have success. How many subscribers do you have on your YouTube channel, Dub? Come and holler at me. 30,000 subscribers on my own. Built 4 different channels. Holler at me. Did you see me on ESPN last week, by the way, my boy? Chill out, man. Watch yourself.
What you talking about?
Watch yourself.
What did this turn into?
Okay.
What did this team turn into? What did this turn into at all? You got some personal beats here.
There's a difference between Hayes and Petty Roosevelt. When you come in here and say, "Who's this guy?" Like you don't know who the hell I am. Guess what? I'm your mama's favorite podcaster.
Let's get back on the topic. This is funny. I was saying that because you had your glasses off, buddy.
I don't care why you said it.
Oh, okay. So you
I don't
got
care why you
emotional.
said
You
it.
got
I don't care
emotional
why you
because of the
said it.
joke.
No,
You
it's
got
just,
emotional
it's
because-
just, no, it's
That's just what it
it's not
was.
emotional. It's just when
No,
weak
that
people
is.
try to, it's when weak people make weak ass jokes, you get weak ass responses back to you.
But that's not a
My
weak
boy,
response.
check your
What are you
energy.
talking about?
It's
What are you
easy.
talking
Let's
about?
get back to the
So here
topics,
we
brother.
go. So here we go. Let's look. All right, y'all should know my credentials on hosting shows is very, very small. So if y'all watch this back and you're wondering, oh my God, L host, shut your mouth.
Amazing host,
I'm
W
new to
host.
this. Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you, thank you. All right, now look, if you're wondering where you are right now, this is from the logo, ladies and gentlemen. So let's tap back in. Right now we're, as you see from the title, we're just gonna start discussing the MVP soon. But for right now, we're going to touch on other awards that we feel certain players might end up receiving this year. So off rip, because I know everybody's answer, Rookie of the Year. What we got?
I could try to lead with this. Hopefully,
Yeah, I ain't heard from you in a while. Gifted, go ahead, bro.
yeah,
You got it.
yeah. For me personally, it's Wemby. I was saying this when Chet was having his hot streak efficiently. The way Wemby just impacts the game at all three levels, especially on the defensive end, has been spectacular. I think the craziest stat for him is the fact that he's shooting like 46 or 47% on pull-up threes, but he's like 29% on catch and shoot. He's just been a phenomenal, like, self-creating type of big. San Antonio has been using him in much better ways, and now that his minute restriction is actually gone, the way he's impacting the game is crazy. San Antonio has a top 10 defense in the NBA when he's on the floor. When he's off the floor, they're the worst defense of all time. Like, that's how drastic it is for San Antonio. So to me, it's runaway Wemby. He's literally breaking block records. He's leading the league in blocks as a 20-year-old. That's just, insane specialty from him. He's had many trademark games, 38 against the Suns, super duper early, had a triple double with 10 blocks as a rookie, had a 7-game streak of like 20 plus points with blocks and steals. Like, he is really a ridiculous 2K creative player, but the difference is this player can actually play defense. Because most people, when they play 2K, they make these random builds that can't play offense. He is the entire package. And as a rookie, one of the best rookies we've ever seen. And it's really going to continue to trend in that way as they build around him. But I got Wemby. Should be a no contest race at this point.
Dub, how you feeling?
The question is,
how you feeling?
oh, my bad. So
There you
Wemby's the clear-cut rookie. He's going to win Rookie of the Year, right? But
Right.
at some point, I just want to make sure that Chet gets his flowers because Chet's doing amazing things on a team that's winning. And I think that sometimes we can overlook the importance of how a player contributes to a winning team. And Wemby deserves. He's living up to all the hype this rookie year, all of it. He's the clear-cut Rookie of the Year. But in any other year, if it wasn't for Wemby and everything around Wemby,
It would be Chet.
Chet would be the Rookie of the Year.
I feel it. I agree with that. I agree with that.
If you want to talk about in the beginning of the year, I think Chet had much of a better argument. But now I think Wemby and his progression has just been crazy. I think Wemby, just all around, bro, especially with his offense, is getting way more comfortable. And it's just something that, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Chet is just the best rookie right now not Chet. Wemby's the best rookie right now over Chet. And I don't even think it's really a debate for me right now, especially when you consider the fact that he's doing it on the Spurs right now, right? He's doing it on the Spurs. He doesn't have the good supporting cast like Chet has right now. And just look at the last game that they had against each other. I mean, that was a pivotal point, especially for the narrative for that Rookie of the Year. I mean, that was a pivotal game for Wemby to end it off like that, right? So right now, Wemby, he's just been tremendous for the last since January. And I just don't see him. I don't see him losing the Rookie of the Year. Now, Chet had it in the first half, but now.
And I think a big part of that too is that you want, like, Greg Popovich got cute with trying Jeremy Sohan at the point guard. What if we were running the actual point guard out there with Wemby the whole season? Like,
literally, Trey Jones, just give him more burn instead at the PG spot, and a lot of the season looks way different.
Yeah.
And it's like Jeremy Sohan be running around out there, and you could just tell he don't know what he's doing in his role that he has been given. I'm just like, dude, you got a 7'4", 7'5" giraffe sitting in the paint. open
Yeah.
every possession. Like there
I
should be
literally
no,
saw a play, ZZ, where like no bullshit. Wemby's in the paint about to dunk the ball. Sohan is cutting to the basket, asking for the lob
I
from
saw
Wemby.
that
Like
play. I
Wemby's
saw
not
that
wide
play.
open to dunk it. Like, yeah, it's kind of nasty, but hey,
Hey, it is nasty. It's nasty, bro. But I'll tell you this. For me, rookie of the year, I agree with everybody. And the masses is Wemby. I was pushing, and the thing is, I made a TikTok about this like a few weeks ago, but I was saying how I don't want to not give Chet his flowers as well. But like Dub pointed to, the matchup that they had, the last one, Wemby went stupid. Chet was okay, but Wemby went stupid. And then Wemby emphasized it by stuffing that shit when Chet tried that mid-range jumper late in the game and sending Chet to the
got
ground.
pinned.
Only thing that was missing was Wemby stepping over him. Had he stepped over Chet, oh my God, it would have went down in the history books. So for me, another thing too, leading the league in blocks at 20 is crazy. This man had 10 blocks in the game. And I've seen people in the comment section try to take the validity out of what he's done because they're like, oh, he's 7'5". Of course. How many 7-footers has the NBA seen in its 77 years? How many 7-footers have they seen? How many 7-footers never lived up to the hype that they had when they were getting drafted?
Yeah.
Think of that before you just shit on Wemby, who's 20, by the way, and doing this 20 and having quadruple doubles. 20 before you shit
I
on
really
Wemby.
think it's such a weak argument to say because he's this tall, he should be doing this. First off, a lot of people came in after seeing how bad he looked in some games during the NBA Summer League. They were saying, "Oh, he's going to be a bust. I got Chet." And then the way that he started, sure, it might not have been as hot, but literally in like his fifth or sixth game, he's going toe to toe with KD, dropping 38 without his team really finding him in the right spots where he's literally getting ignored. There's multiple highlights where like he has the widest lane. Instead, Julian Champagny for 3, right? Like it hasn't been a consistent season and he's still been dominant regardless of that. So it's clearly Wemby, man. Clearly.
Yeah.
But Chet is a hooper. Let's not get it twisted. If this was any other year and Wemby wasn't a candidate, Chet would be the runaway rookie of the year. Even in their last matchup, Chet absolutely hooped. So we're not shitting on Chet. That's just how good Wemby is, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And to Tank, let me just say this. All right. I didn't get to finish my point because I got mad, but that happens. Whatever. Chet, I want to give him his flowers because I said in that video as well, when you look at if you're comparing these players, right? And you're pointing out that this player has this and this player has that, because at one point in the season, people were saying literally, this was the argument. Chet's rookie of the year because who has more wins? And it's like, oh,
so dumb.
We just gonna leave out the fact that he got a top 3 MVP candidate on his team. We're gonna leave out the fact that the Thunder, to their credit, are ahead of schedule on this rebuild era, right? They're ahead of schedule, right? Chet was looked at last season when he was hurt. They were looking and they were saying, okay, Chet might be the missing piece. I said that too, but I didn't expect him to be the 1 seed when he gets there. You know what I'm saying? So like that's where I'm giving Chet his flowers. The role that I thought he was going to fill, he has surpassed all expectation on that regard.
Yeah.
His technically first rookie year. That's where I'm going to give him his flowers for. Victor Wembanyama, on the other hand, like we said, is a different story. This man has Jeremy Sohan as his point guard for stretches of the season. And literally it got to a point where if y'all remember at the start of the season, like you said, preseason, we can go all the way back to the summer league. They were hating on Wemby every single time.
As soon as Kai Jones had the dunk over him, they were like, oh, he's a bust. The very next day, dominated. They're like, okay, never mind, I'll be quiet. Like, yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, I don't know I don't know if anybody is surprised, but I'm like, bro, the hype that this man has is warranted. The same hype that LeBron had when he was in high school was warranted. What we saw with LeBron, the difference was he was labeled the chosen one and, gets drafted by his hometown city. All that stuff is narrative based at the end of the day. LeBron surpassed that in, 10 years time. He was doing this thing off rip, 25 on Sacramento. You know the deal. Victor Wembanyama is out here having quadruple doubles in his rookie season. That's something that I don't think anybody should really be shocked about, but should still give credit to, considering how y'all treated this man in July. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But it is what it is.
But people are gonna do that, and we just gotta be honest with that. When Wemby, let's say, everyone's gonna give him love now because not too many people watching the Spurs and everything, right? But when Wemby that's getting put on higher, stratospheres because he's going to get more TV time when they're making the playoffs and making the finals and stuff. Bro, as much as we talk about how great his game is, you're going to find the people that's going to be like, yo, I see him getting cooked up by Jalen Brunson. I'm seeing Chet go ahead and body the hell, and I'm picking Chet over him. He's not really that good. Jalen Brunson's cooking him. I didn't see that with some other guys. That's what everyone's gonna do, though, and that's what comes with the territory with Wemby. I mean, the league right now, bro, this is the new LeBron. This is basically the new LeBron. This is the LeBron where from the young age, this is the guy where we're gonna see progress, and this is the guy where the MJs, the LeBrons. That's the names he's going to be compared to for the rest of his career. And that's what people are going to do, man.
Yeah.
So I accept it. I'm not going to be mad at it because it is what it is. I accept it.
All right, let's move on to where we at? Depoy. Yeah, Depoy. All right. Now this is one that Dub and I talked about like before the first episode a little bit. We were talking. I was telling them how for me, I don't care. I don't mind being on the push Wemby for Depoy train. I don't mind. I like at the same time, I understand if you go Rudy Gobert. I understand if you go Anthony Davis. I understand that. And if they win it, I'm not going to be mad because I understand where you're coming from. But for me, this 20-year-old is averaging like 3.3 blocks per game. I know it's something that is not, like I said, it's not necessarily surprising, but to me, what's surprising is how it's like Wemby has asserted himself since, stepping onto the floor. And it took him a little bit, but like Dub said earlier in the show, he's getting comfortable. Now, if you get up some competent help, then good Lord, look out for San Antonio. But the fact that the kid is getting comfortable to a point where, like Dub said, bro went out there and dropped 38 on his favorite player of all time, Kevin Durant, whatever. 10 blocks in a game is crazy. And you can tell, obviously, when he's off the floor, that impact is not there. It is actually very, very missed, obviously, right? So for me, I would say Wemby is my Depoy from the fans' perspective, right? But the one player that I think might end up getting it is Rudy Gobert. I'm going to be real. The Timberwolves have the number one defense in the league by a wide margin and have had that for a very long time so far this season. So when I look at Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gobert is one of those interesting players because it's like for as much shit as he gets, right? The impact you can't deny. And you can see it with this team in Minnesota. If you have somebody on the interior that is buying into the fact that ain't nobody coming up in here, and you have capable wing players and ring defenders and a guy like Anthony Edwards, right? And a guy like Jaden McDaniels, however you want to go, the team revolves around Rudy. And you can just tell it's an emphasis on if I get beat and I'm a pretty good defender, Rudy, like that, that's what it is. So for me, I'd say Wemby's my fan vote for Depoy. Rudy is Wemby's my fan vote. Rudy's who I think they're gonna get.
Man, I don't like how ZZ like pick Wemby and then made a case explaining why he can see it for Gobert. Well, no. Make your case for Wemby and let everyone else make their case for who they got. I got Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Listen, I respect what Wemby has done. Again, I'm well aware. I know the stats. Top 10 defense when he's on the floor. Worst defense of all time when he's not, right? That's crazy, 100%. But the answer is Rudy Gobert. And I say this because DPOY, to me, is focused on who had the biggest defensive impact on a roster. And I believe team success should be factored in more when it comes down to that type of award. It's not Wemby's fault. But the reason why Minnesota's defense is what it is because of what Rudy Gobert has been doing from an entire season case. And the funny part is it shouldn't surprise anybody because when he was on the Utah Jazz with shitty defenders, they were the number one defense because of what he could elevate that crew to. But now Cat is having his most improved defensive player season alongside Gobert. Anthony Edwards and all these guys look good. Even Nickeil Alexander-Walker is making big strides defensively. Yep. And it all helps when your centerpiece in Gobert is communicating effectively and is holding down the paint, right? The rebounds, which is something we never talk about, but defense, like all that stuff is cool, but you don't get a secure defense until you secure the rebound. I'll give you a playoff series that's a prime example of that. the Nets versus the Bucks. What people don't often say is the Nets actually played pretty solid defense. The problem is they could not get the rebound. It would be Giannis. It would be Pat Connaughton sometimes. It would be Drew Holiday who would come in, get the rebound, and that taxes your defense further. Rudy Gobert is like third in the NBA in rebound percentage. So he has that. He's also blocking the shit out of shots. But it's not just about blocking. Rim protection is about deterrence. What doesn't show up in the box score, right? The fact that teams have ball handlers that go to the paint, but know that, okay, Rudy's right here or Rudy's coming, I got a kick, and they're altering possessions. Rudy has so many of those that go unnoticed and untalked about, and he's been the reason why their defense has been as good as it has been. We literally saw how they looked just now versus a Lakers team with no Gobert. Right? How easy it was for LeBron and Anthony Davis to feast and have the games that they had on the interior. Rudy Gobert is super duper integral to what they do. And to me, he's far and away the defensive player of the year candidate for me.
I don't know what else to say after Gifted talk sometimes. You got to let Gifted go last sometimes. Gifted got to go last. Like, you just got to – Gifted automatically go last. But I agree with everything Gifted laid out there. Like, when you look at a defensive player of the year, it's who impacts who changes the defense so much for their team. And while Wemby has been great, and don't get me wrong, the Spurs are low defensively. That ain't because of Wemby. You didn't have Wemby on there. They be the negative. That's how bad the Spurs defense really is. Wemby makes it look like it's an NBA defense when it's really not. But Rudy Gobert, his communication, his execution, then on top of that, the narrative aspect of it. And let's not act like that doesn't play a part into the awards for the media that votes into it. Shouldn't for us, but for the media that votes, it does. And where the Minnesota Timberwolves were last year and how it was looked upon for that trade for Rudy Gobert now, with the season of that team coming together and him being so integral to that team being the number one defense in the league, Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year for me for sure.
Mm-hmm. See, this is going to go into what I was talking about, like breaking traditions with the MVP. Listen, I'm not going to lie. DPOY to me is clearly and simple. I don't really care about that narrative right there about you being on a winning team. It's really just who's the best and most valuable defender in this league, right? And there's three names I really think about. You could say Rudy's in there, probably four. You can say Rudy's in there, Wemby's in there, I think Bam's in there. But one of the one that probably has the strongest case to me is AD. I mean, who are the Lakers without Anthony Davis and his defense? They're nothing. They're nothing at all. He's their best rebounder. He's their best rim protector. He's one of their best on ball defenders. He's the most, if not one of the most versatile defenders in the league right now. And he anchors and makes up so much for what they do over there in the Lakers crew, right? I mean, against Minnesota, didn't he have like 7 steals and 3 blocks?
Nah, he had an all-time game.
Yeah.
It was wild what he was doing.
So, bro, Anthony Davis to me, and especially considering the supporting cast that he has, he doesn't have Ant-Man. He doesn't have McDaniels like that. He doesn't have a good scheme right there on the Lakers right now. It's really just him holding on to everything for dear life for that crew and anchoring everything. To me, it's clearly Anthony Davis, and especially when I consider how Rudy's winning DPOYs because of how bad his supporting cast is. I think that same logic can apply to AD. The fact that he's being able to have this high of a level of defense on his crew with the lack of supporting cast, I don't see how it's anybody but him, honestly.
So I hear the AD argument, and for me, the logic of why Rudy deserved DPOY on those Jazz teams wasn't just because of the cast he was carrying, but specifically the fact that he was doing that with that cast. They were the number 1 seed in the NBA at the time, and the impact defensively is why they were so balanced, because they were also a very good offensive team because most of their pieces were offensively oriented. As good as Anthony Davis has been this season, if you look into the points differential when he's on the floor, it's not reflected as much. A lot of his defense isn't really reflected in many of the major counting stats or the advanced stats. Oftentimes when Anthony Davis is on the floor, LA gives up more corner threes than anything. I just feel like what Gobert has done specifically to shift their defense is now Cat is not having to lead their unit at the 5 spot anymore, right? Like now Cat is enabled to be at the 4, which helps them secure better rebounds. It takes more pressure off of what Anthony Edwards and Cat have to do offensively when the defensive load is going to have to be quite as there. And in terms of a night in and night out basis, structurally, what he's done fundamentally, I believe he absolutely deserves a shout. Anthony Davis is definitely in that conversation. I think he's an all defensive first team lock. I just feel like the impact that had towards Minnesota, a team that a lot of people knew had Rudy on the roster, clowned him for being on said roster, and then said that this is a team that's probably a 5 seed, a 6 seed. They might not make the playoffs. And instead, they're the number 1 seed in the NBA through and through. And he's played almost every game. I think when you look at all of those, that's what puts him firmly in that DPOY leading conversation.
So let me ask y'all this question, since it just popped into my head when Gifted was preaching. Rudy Gobert, why do y'all think that he might not be as disrespected now, but why do y'all think that Rudy, like when initially the trade went down, you remember social media was in a frenzy when that shit went
Yes,
down.
they were.
Once they saw them draft picks and once they saw the package, they was like, yo, for Rudy? So now, and like Gifted said, they looked at it and they was like, man, this ain't gonna be nothing. You got Rudy Gobert, who's still an offensive liability, they ain't got no bag, yada yada yada. And it got to a point where I was thinking, I was like, yo, I think Rudy Gobert. And then I remember the NBA had put together, might have been Bleacher Report or something, but they put together something where it was like comparing our generation of players to old generation of players. And what they did was they compared Rudy Gobert of our generation to Bill Russell, right? And I looked at the comment section and everybody was just like, ain't no way y'all got Rudy Go. And I'm like, yo, he is a 3-time defensive player of the year, if I'm not mistaken, right? This man has consistently for years he's been looked at as a defensive player. He's been looked at as an interior force, all that. It's never changed. His defense hasn't hindered at all. It hasn't gotten worse. Like, bro is impactful. But I feel like he genuinely gets shitted on so much because I don't know why. Maybe y'all can help me out. I don't know.
I mean, the reason why is pretty easy. He's French. He's a 7-foot big that people don't like. He struggles to punish. It's because he's French. It is. It is.
Not
it
from
is.
the fans.
No.
From the media. It's probably because of the fans.
Dub. Overall, from the fans, absolutely because he's French. That is a part of it, bro.
What the hell are you talking about?
They call him the baguette man. I'm gonna just be real with you. There is absolutely some hint of xenophobia with Rudy Gobert. Let's not ignore it. They think he's soft. No. Listen, let's not lie about it. Let me talk. They think he's soft. They do believe that Gobert is kind of soft.
They do believe
because he doesn't guard on the perimeter. They think, oh, he can only guard in the paint. So it's like, how valuable is that when you can't go here or there? When for many years he's been pretty good on switches, but the main value is rim protection and the rim deterrence, which people don't really look at as much. And a big part of it is because offensively, he's a more traditional center where it's, I'm going to set hard screens. I'm going to get guys open on offense and I'm going to dunk the ball. He's not really a self-creator much. And because he has many embarrassing moments offensively, they conflate that with how good of a player can he really be if he's useless in these moments. So that's a big part of why they disrespect him. But the results are the results. When Rudy Gobert is on the floor, they are by far and away the best defense in the NBA. His team's defensive net rating takes the hit when he's not on the floor. And for some of these other candidates, you can't quite say the same thing. And again, I really feel like team success to me matters so much in this context because people knew that Gobert was traded with all those picks because of what he can do defensively, because of how he could raise the floor for a Minnesota team that for many years watching basketball, as we have with Cat, they have been laughing stocks, right? Yeah. So they traded all these picks to get a player in there. They underperformed year one. Cat is gone for the entire year. I said, hey, this is year one Gobert. They haven't really played much basketball together. Let them figure it out. Next year, they'll be better. Instead, it's, are they going to make the playoffs? Should Anthony Edwards ask out after opting into a $210 million contract? Those were the conversations. And then they're the number one seed. And it's like, well, no, it should be Anthony Davis. It should be Bam. It should be Rudy Gobert, who has been the centerpiece of why they're number one this season. It just makes sense.
I like that take.
I want to talk about the French thing real quick because
it's facts, bro. I'm sorry.
No. I'm gonna give you the facts on why people hate him. Right. The reason why people hate him is basically because one, the offensive liability that he is insane. We haven't seen nothing like that. Hello, we haven't seen nothing like that. Like crazy from a big, like his offensive bag is terrible, bro. That's something that people cook him for.
Yeah.
You wanna know what else? The COVID thing. When this man is over there touching all the mics saying, "Oh, I don't care about COVID," people are not gonna like that as well. When you are in a playoff series and you're getting dunked on by Terrence Mann, guess what? People are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely a fraud." The French, let's not act as if NBA fans they're perfectly fine with overseas players. Loved Manu, loved Hakeem, loved Jokic. Love Luka. Love Victor Wembanyama, who's a Frenchman. The reason why people sit here and probably do the Frenchman tag is like this, Gifted. It's kind of like the low-hanging fruit. Let's say I got beef with you right now, right? And let's say, where are you from? Where are you from?
Me? I'm from Detroit.
You're from Detroit. It's like, all right, cool. I don't like Gifted for whatever reason. And just to add the cherry on top, man, you from Detroit too, man. You just over here.
That's why it's a hint of xenophobia, because when they see him fail to execute offensively,
it's a cherry on top. It's just a cherry. It's just a cherry on top, bro. That's all.
Yeah, but it's still a part of it. Nobody dislikes they do that often.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, bro, like it's like if you got a big forehead, bro. Like I'm gonna be like, yeah, Gifted got a big forehead too. I'm not gonna like him like that. No. I promise you. I'm gonna tell you why that's just an insult that they just feel like throwing.
I'm gonna tell you why I slightly disagree with that, though. The reason why is because when he's underperforming and they bring these things up, it goes back to that theory that Gilbert Arenas and some other NBA players have, that some of these European players are naturally softer. They don't come from the same type of hard built overall era and this and that. And for many things, I've seen it for many years when I was telling people why Gobert was the best player on those Jazz teams, because of what he does to impact winning. They would bring up, oh, he's slow, he's fat, he's French, he can't do this and that. I'm just saying it's an overall package of things. I've heard
he's French. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Bro, I swear they just saying that.
I can honestly say in all the basketball conversations that I brought in, nobody's ever brought up him being French, but I'm not taking away from your experience.
Me too.
Say that.
I really wish I could say the same. I really wish I could say the
same. People love the overseas players when they are that good. You feel me? So
when they're bad, what are they? When they're bad, what are they though?
How many Euroseas players really get cooked like that for being bad?
Nikola Vucevic, believe me, I see it every day.
Okay, you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Talk to me.
Vucevic, right? He just started getting cooked because he's just, stage of his career, he's regressing. Orlando Magic, he was getting love.
Oh, wait, hold on. Gotta come back. No, Vucevic was always getting cooked defensively. The difference was, though, is that he gave it back to people on the opposite end of the ball because when he still jumped. He stopped jumping 5 years ago, and then now he just does the thing when he finally dunks on somebody, he humps them weirdly enough, which is always weird as hell. You haven't seen everybody talks about it. If Vucevic ever dunks on you, he does the dry hump. It's the weirdest thing in the world I've ever seen in my life. It's like it's the weirdest thing in the world I've ever seen.
But a player like that, I don't think the cooking he's getting is not. He's getting the cooking that I think any player that's getting washed out the league is getting. CP3's getting cooked because he's getting old. You feel me?
Bro, they literally call Gobert Baguette Biombo. They literally call him that.
No, because when you got a man that can't make a hook shot on Luka Doncic,
Baguette Biombo.
When you got a man that can't make a hook shot on Luka Doncic and spreading COVID and getting dunked on by Terrence Mann, guess what? People not gonna like you, bro.
Let's be clear here. The COVID was gonna go through the NBA regardless. These dudes don't give a damn. Like he had to get it from somebody.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, somebody was gonna do something dumb.
Yeah, he was the one. He was the one.
I don't want to get too lost in that.
And he's getting
from a basketball sense, I don't want to get too far on that. Whatever. From a basketball sense, Rudy Gobert continues to do fundamentally sound things and doesn't get the credit for it because people want to focus on what he can or can't do sometimes offensively. When honestly, even offensively this year, he's also looked better in spots in terms of how they've been using him. Night in and night out, when they have the best defense and the team is having success because of it, the other candidates who are compared to him aren't having nearly the same amount of success. And every time it's construction. When this same team without Cat was a 7 seed last year, then they were like, oh, how good is his defense really? Look at the Wolves. They're like a 7 seed, 8 seed. But then he comes back the year after, they're the 1 seed. And now it's, oh yeah, the roster's just deep, man. They got this and that. But y'all didn't expect this coming into the season. Many people didn't have the Wolves as their 1 seed before the season, let alone top 4. So the fact that they're going this far, why is that? It's because of their defense. Who spearheads that defense? Who's backed up by all of the advanced numbers and the items when you watch the game? It's Rudy Gobert.
So you know what's so funny about this?
Player of the year.
You want to know why people don't care about it? Because they literally seen him doing on the Jazz. And you know what's so funny? They didn't take the Jazz serious about being a contender the same way no one takes the Timberwolves for being a contender as well. So everything that he's doing right now, he's not going to get love for it because we've seen it before. So no one's going to talk about him like that. No one's going to care about it because they've seen it before. And until they sit here and probably win or do something, let's say beat the Nuggets, that's the only time when they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Rudy really liked that.
Okay, well, I know that we got to go to the next topic, but I do just want to quickly counter that last point you made right there. The funny part about people saying they've seen this before, the reason why the Jazz were never taken seriously as a contender is because offensively, they didn't have a true number 1 option. People still didn't believe in Donovan Mitchell being that guy. And also, that was because in the playoffs, what would happen is they would play teams that had a ton of shooting with a bunch of offensive liabilities on the floor. They would expose those liabilities, and then Gobert had to say, okay, do I guard the paint as I've been doing the entire season, or do I just have to routinely switch out to the 3-point line because Jordan Clarkson doesn't know what his own defense is? What do I do? So because of that, Terrence Mann has 40 points in the corner, and they lose routinely. What you haven't seen before is a star player like Anthony Edwards, right? Wings like Jaden McDaniels, Cat using his length alongside Gobert to produce a better defense. Rudy Gobert's never had this amount of defensive, help in terms of players who have the wingspan and capability to actually aid him. But they still don't have a true number 1. So them doubting them as title contenders is still going to be there as long as they don't have a top 5 player in basketball. That's never going to change. But his impact and how that translates is always going to stay the same because he's naturally that good of a player. That's why last year when they tried to say he was washed, it's a 1-year thing. He comes back this year, and what happens? At the top of the West yet again when no one had him there.
So right now we're going to transition, and we're going to get into 6th man of the year. However, like you see right here, send super chats via Cash App / $PC show or Venmo.com/u/PC show. Now, we have one super chat that came in earlier when we were talking about the Suns that I did not see. So
shout out Liban.
Shout out Liban Ahmed, the worst 4th quarter team versus one of the best, Denver in 6. We talked about the Suns earlier to kick off the show a little bit. So Denver in 6. But anyway, let's move forward. 6th man of the year. Who do y'all got? I'm gonna let Hayes go because shit, Gifted was cooking. I ain't gonna cap to you.
This is a difficult one. This is probably one of the more difficult years for 6 man of the year. I could think of 5 people I could probably make a conversation for off the top of my head, realistically. Like Malik Monk is in that conversation. You guys would agree Malik Monk is in that conversation, probably leading that conversation for some people. I could even make a conversation for Tim Hardaway Jr. to be in that conversation.
Okay.
So I get it with the flaws of that Dallas Mavericks team. That's going to be exposed. It is what it is. But I think if I'm going to have to pick anyone, I'm going to say the first person. I could even make a conversation for Bobby Portis, but Malik Monk is probably the one that I'm definitely pointing towards for the 6 man of the year right now. But it's a close race. These last 18 games of the season could determine that race for me.
Yeah, it's a very hard race this year. There's so many players. Dude, literally what Norman Powell has produced for the Clippers off of their bench is one of the best shooters in the league. Yep. He's a good case. I love Malik Monk, man. I'm sorry. Like the amount of tough shots that he can make in a quarter, the avalanche shots, like how he dropped 40 with Fox on the Clippers last year in that game and went to like damn near 3 OTs. Like he's just such an explosive combo scorer. You said Malik Monk, though. I want to give credit to Naz Reid. Nas Reed is
one
of the most like versatile bigs in the NBA. And for Minnesota, he just makes their process so much cleaner to where there literally is no let up. One of the best shooters in the NBA as well. As soon as Cat went down, what has Nas Reed been doing in some games where he's still coming off the bench, just producing at a high form? He's quality, and they feel like they can really rely on him on both ends of the floor. Really one of the best role players in the NBA, and he's a very steady and consistent player night in and night out, even if his three ball isn't falling. So I give it to Nas Reed off of his two-way impact on the Wolves this season for me.
Those are the two people leading the odds, Malik Monk and Nas Reed.
That's funny.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So I went to go check it. Malik Monk minus 240, Nas Reed plus 300, and then Bobby Portis plus 1,200. So, I mean, I don't see anybody else winning it besides those two. I think it's just up to whoever you want to give it to.
Yeah.
I guess if we want to just talk about showing some people some love, we could talk about. I think Tim Hardaway was a really good one, but Karis LeVert. I think LeVert has been very up and down, especially in the beginning of the year. But I think recently he has been in form as of late. So shout out to Karis LeVert, man. Shout out to him. Just gonna show him some love, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think he's winning it over Munker though, but
for me, it's interesting because like off rip when I did check it today when I was at work just to see what the odds were looking like. But I saw Malik Monk and I thought to myself, bro, I just said the other week, and then I don't care if this is a hot take or not. Malik Monk is gonna become like our generation's J.R. Smith. I'm sorry. Like
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not trying to overstep, but I'm telling you, the shit I see Malik Monk do, bro. He's like a Fox 2.0 and need him to be, bro. It's wild what he does. So yeah, it is 100% with you on that.
And so I just look at Malik Monk and I'm just like, dude, he is such a spark plug for this team. When you look at when you think about Sacramento in terms from last year to this year, the same thing has been a constant. Is that they're a pretty good offensive team at the end of the day, right? When you look at them and you think, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, what's the boy's name? Keegan Murray. Domantas Sabonis is able to do his thing, right? But when you think about that bench and what comes off of it, it is Malik Monk, bro. And when he comes off the bench, it is like he comes off just ready to punch y'all right back in the mouth. It is insanity. I do want to give some love to Norman Powell. Bro is shooting 45% from three off the bench. 14 a game, solid. I mean, I got to give him some love. And at the end of the day, when I be watching Clippers games, for some reason, because I catch Clippers games, like I don't catch all of them, but I catch them like I split like a game or two and a half before I catch the other one. And every time I do that, Norman Powell shows me something that I didn't see the previous game. And I'm just like, damn, bro, this is their spark plug. If you need somebody to get you back in the game, Norman Powell is your guy. If you need somebody to keep you up in the game, to just keep hitting some dagger-esque type threes or get you some good possessions in, Norman Powell is your answer. And I'm talking about guys outside of obviously Kawhi and PG, but I want to give Norman Powell some love. Don't think he's going to win it, but I'm going to give that man some love. 45% from three ain't no joke. But we did get a super chat, which is also not a joke. From your stuff, appreciate it, gang. $10. THJ, what this man on? They fans trying to get him out of Dallas, bro. Saying
this is true.
Man. Also, much love on new show. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. What y'all think about it?
I mean, it came down.
Dallas fans don't like him. Yeah.
I mean, but then again, Dallas, like, are we really letting Dallas fans dictate like actual? Like, come on, like Dallas fans. There aren't really any Dallas fans. Dallas Mavericks fans pop up when their team's actually playing good. Shout out to them going from Dirk to Luka. But like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s performance off the bench.
That's every fan though.
No, that's not. That's not every fan base. Some fan bases have actual loyal fans. About 5 teams.
Probably like I forgot. The Bulls, the Bulls, but y'all don't talk about the Bulls when they trash. We got to be honest.
That's
like,
not
it
true.
Is what it is.
That's just not true, bro. What are you talking about? We don't talk about.
I haven't heard nothing about the Bulls.
When's the last time you've been to Chicago? When's the last time you've been to Chicago? Like, real talk.
My aunt lives in Chicago. Actually,
like Chicagoans bleed Chicago Bulls basketball. They're Bears fans first. We're Bears fans first.
Yeah.
It's Bears over everything in Chicago, but then the Bulls are shortly thereafter that.
You know what? That is the Bears. They do talk about the Bears,
Bro,
no
and
matter what. That is true. That is true.
The Bears have been shitty for 37 years, 38 years in a row. Like, and
Yeah.
you still can't talk bad about the Bears in Chicago. So,
But you know what? The Bulls were, and maybe this is the thing. The Bulls were so bad for so long. I'm not gonna lie. Motherfuckers wasn't talking about them until when?
Rose.
No, I mean, we had the no, because that year that we swept Miami in the playoffs, they were definitely talking about the Bulls then. But unfortunately, every time that it happens with the Bulls, when the national media does start talking about us, then that next season after that, we shit the bed and we end up getting the number one overall pick for Derrick Rose. Every time we start doing something right, literally, it's like, all right, bet the eyes are on you guys again. Everybody's ready to be a Bulls fan again. What happened? We shit the bed every time. I'm
gonna say this too, because I don't know if I've said this on a few shows before, but when I first got into basketball, like outside of just watching whatever my parents' favorite team was, right? When I first got into basketball, it was around 2014, 2015. I turned on summer league game. It was the Bulls versus the Cavs. Now going into this, I was like, yo, I need to find a new team because my parents were Heat fans and Braun had just left Miami, and I was like, I'm not going to Cleveland. So I was like, I need to find a new team. Turn on summer league, see the Bulls playing the Cavs. I see D Rose. I'm like, you know what? Rose, Bulls. Michael Jordan, yeah, sure. Derrick Rose MVP story. I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna be a Bulls fan, right? So I kid you not, I was a Bulls fan for like 3 years, maybe. It was right after they had traded Rose and they had let go of Tibbs and brought in Fred Hoiberg, and all of the problems between him and Jimmy Butler started. And I was like, yo, this front office is incompetent. I don't know how the hell you let go of Tibbs, who gave y'all arguably one of your best winning percentages as a coach compared to Phil Jackson, of course. But I mean, for as much shit as you can give Tibbs, that man was winning you basketball games. like I'm sorry. And I have a love-hate relationship with Tibbs, but that's crazy. So after that, because I saw somebody just said ZZ just started watching ball is crazy. No. I did my research after that and started diving into history so I can, become a historian or whatever. But at the end of the day, I left the Bulls organization because I was like, I don't like the direction that this team is going in. I don't like the front office. I hate Fred Hoiberg. Still feel the same way. And yeah, I just like Hayes said, they just do stupid things as a front office. You let Jimmy Butler go because he wanted guys to work harder. What the hell is that? What do we?
And they admitted we don't know how to build around this guy.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
hold on. Let's run down the stupidity. I'm sorry. This is my chance to get my trauma off.
Go ahead.
We go from Vinny Del Negro as the head coach, who had an above 500 record with a clearly rebuilding team and a young Derrick Rose. Fine. But the way that you get him out there, your GM goes in his office, pulls his tie, and he throws a punch, and you fire him because you pulled him by his neck. Cool. You fire him. You bring in Tom Thibodeau. It is what it is. We have the run that we run. You fire Tom Thibodeau because you didn't like the fact that the players liked him more than the front office. Again, putting feelings before business. Cool, whatever. You send him off. You bring in Fred Hoiberg because he was friends with the GM, and then you sit there and you have one of the best two-way players in the game at that time in Jimmy Butler and say, hey, we don't know how to build around you. We're going to trade you. We're going to bring in some other players. Cool, you did that. You went younger. You then hired the hole himself, Jim Boylan, in this team. And then on top of that, you fire that GM, and then you say, hey, we want you to consider keeping the worst coach on in the league and then get mad when the new GM fires him. That's the stupidity that we've had to deal with as a franchise. It's terrible.
I feel for you. I genuinely feel for you, bro. I'm not joking. Like anybody that I know that came across that is a Bulls fan, I feel for you because I was there. I left it. I was like, I can't do it. I cannot root for this team. I cannot do it. But anyway, let's get into. We're done with 6 man. We are
most improved.
Most improved. Let's do that.
Okay.
On that one.
Wait. Real quick.
Got something.
There we go.
Quick.
Gifted.
I'm gonna go fast. All right, listen.
You don't.
Most
200 character limit like Twitter, bro. Get it. No, just go ahead.
Okay, listen. A lot of people are gonna say Tyrese Maxey most improved. I hate the fake deep shit. We knew Tyrese Maxey was a star caliber player last year. He's just getting more opportunity this year. Most improved player got to be Kobe White. I'm sorry. We saw this guy come into the league, right? I was questioning this offseason. Is he going to be a Bull long term? Is he going to re-sign? Like, how good is he really? He's like a spark plug variance type of guy. He could be good for stretches, but like, how good is his game really? And then this year with the Zach LaVine role changing, with what Vucevic and DeMar have been, Kobe White has been pretty much a revelation for the Bulls, a key piece of their future now, in my mind. And his splits, I mean, the way he's improved as a decision maker, 3-point shooter, his efficiency as a scorer, and what he's done for Chicago, I lean Kobe White more because to make that type of leap is crazy. Bro was having like 35 points, 14 assist games. I was watching some of these games, and it's like, damn, like I feel like Kobe White needs to be acknowledged. And how we look at most improved, it should stop being this player who we already know is very good, who gets more opportunity to show why they're really good. Like, I hated that Ja Morant, Ja Morant should have never won that over Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain was clearly the most improved player. Yeah, so in the same case, I'm leaning Kobe White. That's my most improved.
By the nature of the award, the award is titled Most Improved Player, right? That's the name of the award. Let's go over some numbers here. Because again, Bulls fan, I got the stats here. Don't worry about
it. My man. Go ahead.
Kobe White has improved over 10 points per game from what he did last season. Tyrese Maxey improved 5.7 points per game. Assists. Kobe White's improved 2.5 assists than what he had last year. Tyrese Maxey, 2.8. Rebounds, 1.9. Tyrese Maxey, 0.8. Field goal shooting percentage, 2.3% increase for Kobe White, negative 3.2 for Tyrese Maxey. Free throw shooting percentage, 2% better. Tyrese Maxey's almost 6% worse as a free throw shooter than what he was last season. By the nature of the name of the award is most improved, Kobe White has not only improved more statistically, but then let's talk about role. Kobe White averaged less than 23 minutes per game last year, averaging 9 points per game, and he was a bench player with an inconsistent offensive role. This season, he is leading the NBA in minutes played. He is the best clutch player in the NBA by every measurable statistic in the clutch, period. There's been nobody that has improved more than Kobe White in the nature of what the name of the award is. Nobody's improved as much as he has in both statistics, in role. He is the number one option now on offense for that team, except in fourth quarters because Billy Donovan going Billy Donovan. But other than that, he's improved in role, he's improved in statistics, he's improved in output, and he's improved in his impact overall on the game. Nobody's improved more than Kobe White in the NBA this season.
He cooked. I definitely agree with a lot of those points. Go ahead, Deb.
I mean, it's just gonna be. I mean, Kobe. I don't know if nobody else to say. I guess we could say. What's his name? I'm not gonna say Maxey. Honestly, Maxey just gets like crazy rided for no reason. I don't understand why. But Tyrese Maxey shouldn't even be in this. I didn't see any crazy improvement from last season to this year. I just think his workload probably just got more this season. But in terms of like drastic improvements with his game, I don't see that much. I'll say J-Dub is probably a better candidate than Tyrese Maxey.
I bring up Jalen Johnson, maybe.
Jalen Johnson's not bad too.
Yeah, he's had a great He's had a great season.
I'm gonna say a name that y'all didn't say. He plays in Houston.
I love Sengun.
I love Sengun.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, right? Before Hayes gave us that soliloquy, before he gave us that rundown, right? Before he gave us that rundown, I was sitting here saying, you know what? I like Kobe because I don't think it's Maxey either, in my opinion. I thought it was between Kobe and Alperen, and I was going to throw in Jonathan Kuminga just because I'm a biased Warriors fan. But before Hayes gave us that rundown, I was like, yeah, Alperen. Afterwards, I'm gonna leave Kobe. I ain't gonna lie. I know he improved across the board that damn.
Yeah, like, it's crazy, bro.
And in the minutes per game, that's what got me. I was like,
he's on my fantasy. I know. Trust me, I know it. Hooper.
I'm going Kobe. I'm going Kobe. That's crazy. All right. So now we're at the hour and 12-minute mark, about to hit hour 15, which means we're about to have 15 minutes left in this show. So I think that it's time. I don't even gonna worry about Coach of the Year. Personally, I don't give a damn. Give it to Minnesota's coach. Give it to Joe Mazzulla. Give it to Steve.
I'm giving it to OKC coach.
Give it to OKC coach. I don't care.
Dingo.
Yeah. MVP. Now, I took the liberty prior to this show. I took the liberty into looking up what the NBA's MVP odds were because I was like, that can be kind of where we use a little bit of our reference. So this is all according to like 2 days ago. Nikola Jokic is number 1. SGA is number 2. Giannis, the Greek freak, is number 3. Jason Tatum's number 4, and Luka Doncic is number 5. So I would assume that the majority of our lists maybe look the same in terms of top 5 MVP candidates. Should look maybe something similar to this. Don't know. Maybe Hayes has DeMar in there and we don't know, but
God.
what we feeling? We're gonna start off with Dub this time. Dub, who you got for MVP, and why is it not Nikola Jokic?
Nah, bro, it's just at least my train of thought with this goes to just the wrong givings of MVPs because of record, right? Like Jokic has been on one, especially for the last few months now. But when I compare him to a guy like Luka Doncic, I the way I think about it is like this: if Luka Doncic was on the number 1 seed, they would give it to Luka Doncic. They would.
Yeah, they would. Yes.
If it was even a top 3 seed, they would give it to Luka Doncic. Why
No
is
doubt.
that? Why is your opinion being so affected by the team's overall success? It's a team game for a reason. It will never make sense to me. You have Luka Doncic. He just had a triple-double, I think, last night, dropping 40 balls, shooting the 3 consistently, shooting the 3 ball. The best
3-point shooting season ever. Yep.
Yep.
Best he's ever shot in his whole entire career. We know what he can do playmaking. I guess I'm not going to hype it up too much, but I don't like hyping up that up. But his defense is the best it's been for a while. You know, it's the best defense he's ever played in his whole entire career. I mean, I just don't see how a guy like Luka Doncic, who's giving you 34, 8-8, or like 34, 9-9 on that crazy efficiency from the 3 ball and from field goals. Like, I don't understand how you could just give it to somebody else other than him, especially considering the fact that Kyrie Irving has been in and out of the lineups. Like, it's not like he's doing this with a consistent team the whole entire year. Now, I get Jamal Murray was out for some time in the beginning of the year, but he's had him for a good portion of the year, and his lineups hasn't been as fluctuating as Luka Doncic. So Luka Doncic, despite that, I've seen him win games by himself against the Lakers where he was just crapping on everybody, bro. So I'm sorry. To me, Luka Doncic, with his stats, with his percentages, with the defense he's been playing, I don't care that they're an 8th seed, 7th seed right now. He is clearly the most valuable player right now to me, and he's having the best season right now to me. But Jokic, it's not like Jokic isn't having a great season in his own right.
All right, Hayes, it's on you.
I mean, I to me it's Jokic. But I agree with Dub that the narrative of where the team is does play a factor in it, whether right or wrong, it does. And Luka Doncic's having an amazing season. And if it wasn't for him being on the Dallas Mavericks, he would be the clear cut, I think, MVP this year. I don't think there'd even be any question. But to me, like what Jokic still is doing at the center position with not being an athletic big at all and still being the focal point and the point guard basically of that offense and what he's able to do. To me, I look at the way that I look at MVP is who helps up their team the most, right? The place, the standing of where their team is the most. And he still is the engine of that team. And he's going to be in that conversation as long as that team's at the top of towards the top of the conference. He's always going to be in it. And I just respect Jokic's game a lot. I know that for like more casual people, Jokic doesn't have the exciting game, right? It's not fun to watch Jokic play, but what he's doing is amazing at his size, at his basketball IQ. All those things are amazing, and to me, Jokic is the MVP for me. He'd get my vote right now.
Word.
All right, man. I gotta say, and this is a quick disclaimer. In my opinion, if Joel Embiid was healthy and maintained his level of play throughout the year, it would be him. I thought he was runaway. He was just playing at an insane clip. I feel like a lot of my vote is tied on how the season ends. I believe Jokic, absolutely, for everything Hayes said, has been a phenomenon. I mean, he's been a great player. I thought last year he deserved to win MVP. He's doing more of the same this year. And probably because he had playoff success, they'll give that value for this year's vote. But I think Shea has to be talked about. If OKC is able to sustain this and be the number 1 seed in the NBA, I think for a MVP, what I look at is your consistency. Night in and night out, how available are you? How many games do you bring it? And I think Jokic, as good as he is, he's had moments where at the start of the season, he wasn't at the same level he is now. He's had times where he doesn't want to score, So he kind of has like a quieter game. His floor game is still immaculate. I'm not going to say it's not. But I think on a night-to-night basis, what Shea has done for the Oklahoma City Thunder has been absolutely ridiculous. He's leading the league in 30-point games this season, 47 games with 30. So, like, I need people to understand, right? There are people who average 35 and have like, okay, I got 50 points here, 20 here, 50 again here, 12 here, 60, right? Shea is 31, 31, 31, 31, 20, 40, 31, 31. Like that's what his season has been. So his consistency with that has been really, 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 really ridiculous. If OKC is able to sustain that, being the number one seed, and also I don't believe in voter fatigue. I think that's a very dumb reason to not give NBA players a reward in terms of the vacuum. However, if the conversation is close, I look at your record. I look at how good you've been as a player, and then that as well. Shea has not won an MVP yet. So I do believe he's having an MVP caliber season. This is the perfect time for him to actually get it. So I would lean Shea, but that's under the context that he's able to sustain his play and they take home the 1 seed.
So for me, I was waiting. That's why I gifted to go last. I knew he was gonna say my answer. SGA. Now the difference is that when I look at SGA, and another thing too, I want to listen. People are saying that Giannis is getting disrespected and Tatum is getting disrespected, which I think Tatum is getting disrespected.
Tatum.
But at the same time, it's like this was,
I forgot about that.
You said Tatum. Do they know?
I forgot.
Now, do I think Tatum deserves to win the MVP this year? No, I don't. But if this was 2015, would he win it? Probably. Back in 2015, when you look back at 7 and 15 Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry's averaging 24, 6 and 7 or whatever he was averaging that year, and James Harden was going stupid in Houston, people were saying that James Harden deserved that MVP, and Steph won it. And then you have seasons like the next season where Steph goes out there and they win 73 games and he's shooting 50, 40, 90, averaging 30, leading the league in steals. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, it's Steph. No matter that Kawhi and the Spurs were a 60 wins, whatever, like it doesn't matter. It's clear cut. The issue with the MVP award is that the consistency on what the criteria is not consistent. You have years where it is the best player on the best team, and that is what it is. You can point to 2015, you can point to 2011, you could point to 2006, 2005, whatever. You can point to a lot of years, right?
Yeah.
When I look at the NBA this year, for as much talent as we have in the league, and that is something that us being able to witness this generation, or Gen Z or whatever, this section of NBA fandom can tell their kids, look, we had the most talented league ever. Like, we had seasons where Luka Doncic is out here averaging a 30-point triple-double in his last 16 games or whatever it is, while at the same time, earlier on in the season, Joel Embiid is shooting 85% from the free throw line as a 7-footer. We ain't seen that before. We got Steph Curry still playing great basketball. LeBron James at the age of 39, don't even get me started. But you see the point. We have so much talent in this league that the MVP conversation, including the fact that Joel Embiid got hurt, we have so much talent that, like Gifted said, it comes a point in time where you really got to break it down when you get to that top 3 and you're sitting there saying, okay, we get it. SGA got a case. We get it. Jokic got a case. We understand. I understand where you're coming from, Dub, with Luka Doncic. You want to know why? Nikola Jokic, when he won his first MVP, if I'm not mistaken, was the 6th seed, right? When Westbrook won his first MVP, he was the 6th or 7th seed, but he was averaging a triple-double, and Steph Curry and KD were on the same team, so they weren't going to get it. But when I look back at that season in particular with Russ, I think to myself, bro, like we thought Russ was setting a standard back then, but it may not have been the same thing that, like, it hasn't panned out the way that some people might have thought it would, because you have a player in a Luka Doncic who, honestly, if you were talking about value to a team, Luka is in a lot of guys' number 1 lists because value is there. You can't replicate what he's doing with anyone else. Even if the roles were flipped and Kyrie was in his position, Kyrie couldn't carry the load like Luka Doncic is carrying the load, right? So it's hard. It really is. But when I look at SGA, man, the Thunder are a team that nobody, besides Thunder fans maybe, and maybe not even them, expected to be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Last season, I looked at the Thunder and I said, dude, they're a piece away. What is that piece? Or they're a couple pieces away, but the big piece for the young core is Chet, obviously. SGA is playing at a great level, which he was last season, because I remember going into the season, not a lot of people had SGA in their top 10, let's be real. Going into last season, people were like, okay, he might be top 20 for sure, but the top 10, nah. Then last season, he goes stupid. In this season, you get him Chet, and you get him Josh Giddey, and you get him Lou Dort, and you get him Jalen Williams, and you get him J-Dub, and you get him – everybody's healthy. They are literally the number 1 seed as we speak. He is averaging 30 points a game. He is leading the league in steals. He has had 30 in a game 47 times this year. That is insane. And to gift this point, I also want to say, now it's different when you're averaging 35, and like he said, you get 50 one night, 25 the other night, 30 the other night, 16, 25. It's different. SGA is consistently giving you 31, so much to
47 games.
He is giving you 31 so consistently. It is to a point where it has literally become a meme. SGA gonna have 31.
Well, the betting odds is like 31, 32.
It's crazy.
They just expect it, you know.
Now, another point about the betting odds, Luka Doncic. There were stretches this season where Luka for 40 was like plus 125, and Luka for 30 and 35 was minus something. I'm like, damn.
Now that shit minus odds now, bro.
Yep. So the thing I want to talk about, and I see the chat saying it, and I was going to say this earlier, was I'm not going to have him, but especially if we're talking about record and team success and everything, like the fact that none of y'all mentioned Giannis at all is crazy to me, especially considering the fact, bro, they're only 3 games behind like OKC and the Nuggets. Say a top 2 seed on Boston. He's the first player to have 60% on 30 points per game and great defense on top of that, right? So it just doesn't, and this is where no gift to talking about voters fatigue. I feel as if just because Giannis hasn't won again, they will never give him an MVP. They won't do it. No, since Jokic won, and we have the greatest sample size to use right now with Jokic. Jokic won the finals. Guess what? We're okay with giving him 3 MVPs now. I guarantee you, if he didn't win last year, ain't nobody going to talk about Jokic. Ain't nobody going to talk about giving him votes. Ain't nobody going to sit here and be like, yeah, he should win it over Giannis or anything like that, or Shea, because then they would just bring up, and it's BS, but they will bring BS about, oh, yeah, what did he do when it mattered the most? Similar to what they do with Giannis. And it's actually quite despicable what's going on with Giannis. Even though he's not my MVP, I wouldn't vote for him for MVP. I can understand why Jokic and Luka's ahead of him. But especially with the narrative, your top 2 seed in the East, went through a complete roster change, went through your coach getting fired.
And you've been great all season. Yeah.
You've been great, and the most consistent thing all year. The defense has been trash. You have done everything you possibly could to anchor. I don't understand how he's not, like, that's the perfect narrative for any MVP besides Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't get it.
So what's wrong? So let me ask you this then, Dub. You just listed all of that, anchoring, all that stuff. Now
and didn't pick him.
And didn't pick him. But I saw,
like I said, I don't, because I don't rank off of, because I don't care about the wins and losses for my team.
I saw a player's choice clip earlier today, and I don't know who the guy was. Shout out to him though. But he was talking about how he hates Tatum, but he will say that if Tatum was off of the Celtics, they would not be at the top of the conference the way that they are. That's what he said. So when I look,
but what is that saying? Wait a minute, I'm sorry. What is that saying? Like, listen, I don't mean no disrespect, but you take best player off of best team, they're not as best. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what that means. What point is that making?
If you take KD or Steph off of the Golden State Warriors in 2018, 2019, they get worse. Like, that's just what's going to happen.
Like, I don't.
Like, that's common sense. It's not an indictment. It's not like a big up for the props of those two players. It's
although
just
they
like.
did get better when they took KD off the floor. Loki
Now we got.
I'm not gonna doubt about that. I'm just saying numbers are the numbers. But yeah, bro, like, I like Tatum, no disrespect, but are we gonna lie and say that he's been at the level of a Giannis, Luka, Jokic, or Shea this entire season, bro? Are we just gonna like lie? Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Giannis, I do think a guy. I'm not gonna lie. I do think you being the first player to average 30 on 60%.
No. Tatum. I'm saying he's not in these talks with these guys.
Nah. It's not even close. Pack him up.
Right.
The only reason, and this is why it goes to the whole wins and losses point. Like the only reason why people are saying that is because the Celtics are the number 1 seed. If they're the 4th seed, no one cares about what he's
and they're
doing.
+8 without Tatum on the floor. Like I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do with that, bro. I'm sorry, but I find it hard to give an MVP to a guy that is not averaging better production, is not performing at a consistently higher peak than any of these players, and your team is a +8.5 without you on the floor. It's hard for me to make that argument. I'm sorry.
I feel you on that. I ain't say Tatum was my MVP, right?
Yeah, I got you. But as much this like Draymond Green be saying some bullshit. Because as much as he said, no, he was. He gonna tell me, oh, nah, JT's the one guy that get penalized for his teammates being around him. I said, no, Sherlock. He gets uplifted for being on that good team. We talking about MVP conversations, and these guys gonna bring Tatum into the combo. Why? The only argument you have is because the team he's on with his teammates to put him in those conversations. So he was right, but in reverse. His teammates is really what's putting him in these conversations. And I'm
gonna let you know right now, Dub. Like as a Warriors fan, I love Draymond Green. He a yapper though. I mean, like I gotta be real with you, right? Like he literally did a podcast with Trae Young a year ago, saying you have the same production as Luka. Like you also, put up 15 assists, 16 assists. Like I don't know why y'all are talked about in a different light. And then Luka balled out this season, and then Draymond has a tweet saying, "I can't believe they traded you for Trae." And it's like, then you just tell Trae to his face that y'all are like in the same shit, but then you now gassing up Luka.
You know what I call that? He's setting up for his media personality when he retires.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He was interviewing Isaiah Thomas. Got Isaiah Thomas talking out the ass again about Michael Jordan. Bro, what are we doing? Like,
the week though with the 90s trend is getting stressed out. Look at him, bro.
No, it's Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, it's even worse. Like, bring up Scottie Pippen around Isaiah Thomas and just watch his whole demeanor change. It's the hate is real. It's like, come on, Zeke. What we doing here, bro?
Zeke. And here's the thing. I love Isaiah Thomas. I told you before when I actually got into basketball on my own and started doing my own research and all that, watching documentaries, Bad Boy documentaries. That 30 for 30 is literally in my top 3 favorites ever. But watching that taught me about Isaiah Thomas the first time. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, bro had handles, bro had a shot making ability.
Any documentary gonna make somebody look like Jesus, bro.
Clearly.
I'm not here, like I swear, bro. Isaiah Thomas, though, you know what?
Give him his credit. He got a finals MVP. Give him his credit. They built the team around him. Like, give him his credit where it's due. Like,
you know what?
5, top 7
point guard ever, maybe. ZZ. This is what gets me mad because as much as Zeke talks about like Scotty and hitting on them, bro, look yourself in the mirror. He one of the most overrated players too. If we're gonna keep it real, like, come on, I'm not hearing this nonsense, bro. Like, bro, you was on the Bad Boy Pistons, and for some reason, people think he was like a crazy good defender. He wasn't. Like, he was undersized and getting bullied all the time. That's why Joe Dumars was the main POA and Dennis Rodman was the main POA. And people uplift him like he's on this different stratosphere of point guards than like other guys like Kids or Nash or P3s. And we're going to be on, or even Russ's. We're going to be honest, he's not. He's really not. He was he was lucky to be on that Detroit Pistons crew to put the narrative up for his career.
I just find it funny, chat, how like the main guy up here who says that they're done with the 90s wants to talk about the 90s now. I'm gonna just point that out.
Y'all brought up the combo. We're not doing this. Y'all brought it up. Y'all brought up the combo, not me.
We set you up. All right, hey, we got to get up out of here, but we're gonna read the super chat for the last little bit of the show. All good.
I think he had one before too.
Did he have one before?
Shout out to your stuff, bro. Yeah, he had one before.
Oh, yeah, he did have one. We missed the other one. Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. I've been preaching when they was the 10 seed. This man, Tim Hardaway Jr., is a walking negative in all Mavs lineups, negative with all rotation players, rather not even top 6 on the Mavs. He top 6 in field goals attempted a game, so it is what it is.
He's top 6 in scoring for them. He's top 6 in a couple of stats for them.
But anyway, back to your star again. All good, Dub. Jokic and Giannis can have the MVP. Luka just needs to get that Finals MVP. Yo, that Gafford Lively center duo looking crazy, and both of them young. Your confidence for them going down recent?
Oh no, I'm still believing, bro. We still there. I just haven't talked about them too much because I've been bigging them up all year. So I'm just, chilling right now. But yeah, my confidence for the Dallas Mavericks is still up there. The West, honestly, bro, I honestly have no clues making it out. Like not even
The
Neither do
Western
I.
Conference playoff run is going to be ridiculous this year.
It's gonna be
That's a fight.
families and
a fight.
homeless families. But anyway, we out. This has been a great episode of From the Logo. Shout out to the co-host, Dub, Gifted Hoops, Hayes, the guys. And if you don't know Hayes, you know him by this episode. Good Lord. Now, I want all of y'all.
Bro started going crazy. I'm like, damn, bro. I was like, I was just saying, you ain't got your glasses on, fam. Like, shit. This guy just started going
check
crazy.
Your facts on Hayes, man. Talk to the people, man. This has been great. Love all of y'all. We're gonna see y'all on Thursday, same time, 6 to 7:30, and then again on Sunday with Hayes as host. Love y'all. Shout out to y'all, and good night, PC. We out.
Peace out, people. Have a good one.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe as soon as I can end.